Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Teenagers Talk podcast. Today I wanted to talk about the pressure that is put on teenagers and young people about regarding careers and what you want to study in the future, jobs, and all of this future talk. And God, I don't like it. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Teenagers Talk podcast. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about the pressure of finding your future career or finding out what major you're going to study in university as a teenager, and the pressure that is put on teenagers to discover all these things. Okay, for context, especially where I live, there's a lot of pressure put on young people to decide quicker from a younger age what they want to study, what university they want to go to, what job they want to have when they grow up, and especially the pressure of you cannot choose that job because it's not doable, you won't be able to get enough money, or you won't be able to get to afford a living out of that. And so you cannot really choose a job that is not of a high prestige or something like that. You cannot become an actor. You won't be able to make a living out of it, or you will make people will make fun of your family because, oh my gosh, their child is studying art. God forbid. Yeah, that's the thing. I really hate the fact that we cannot choose what we wish to study, or it's not called a real job. You use art every day. You go to the theater, you go to the cinema, you listen to music literally every day, or I hope maybe at least once a week. You're definitely listening to music at least once a week, a day, whatever. You read books, you go to art museums and all of that. So you consume art every freaking day, and then you call it a not real job. What do you mean it's not a real job? You can make a living out of literally anything. And this whole thing of you cannot have a specific, you have to be, I don't know, a doctor, a lawyer, a judge, an engineer, and all of these prestigious jobs. This whole thinking of you have to have a real job has altered my brain chemistry too, and I think it's affecting a lot of young people, especially in our generations, because it's been affecting people for a long time. We are getting a bit more free now, and we're getting freedom. We are getting to a point where we can choose what we want. It's not as parents and families are not as strict with their children and what they're studying, but I think that there's so much pressure put on finding out quicker what you want to study, because I'm in this situation. I'm in 10th grade, and people are already expecting for me to already know what I want to study in the future, because I have to take my finals in a subject. We have a kind of different system. You have 3 exams. One for your native language, you have one for math, and that depends on what you're studying in high school. You have one for math, history, philosophy, something like that, depending what you're studying in high school. And then you have another subject that you have to choose. And for me, who I'm studying math, I have to choose something between biology biology, coding, technology, physics, chemistry, and I don't know what I'm going to choose, and my parents are constantly asking me, what do you want to take your finals in? Because I have 2 years left of high school, and I already have to decide. I need to be at least a bit sure about what I want to study later in life, and what job I want to have. And of course, I want to take my finals in a subject that I will need for high school too, whoopsie, I meant to say university, for college, university too. And I don't know. And you're constantly like, you have to decide. You have only 2 years left, and I've talked to people who are currently in the 12th grade, and they told me, don't hurry to find something that you want to study, or to already decide what job you want to have. Don't be in such a hurry, because then you're going to decide too quickly and you're maybe going to regret it. And honestly, I cannot take that advice. And not because I don't think it's useful. It's just everybody keeps on asking me, what do you want to study when you be in college? What job do you want to have? And I cannot say something like, I don't know, I want to become an actress, or I want to become a writer. That's not something prestigious. It's not something it's not a job you can have. And especially in this region, in the Balkan region, I think families put a lot of pressure on their children to get a prestigious job, with the excuse of, if you don't get a good job, we're going to become you're going to become the embarrassment of the family or something. What are relatives going to say? What are other people going to say? And I think this whole judgment thing is much more accentuated. It's accentuated. Is it the word? No. I think in this region, people care much more about other people's opinions when it comes to their family, and I think that just adds to the pressure. And I'm scared, because I don't know what I want to do. In 9th grade, I surrounded myself with a lot of people that were 11th or 12th grade. I knew a lot of people from different clubs, and they all seemed like they knew what they wanted to do in life. And I was undecided. I felt like I wasn't particularly good at anything. I wasn't the most exceptional in STEM subjects. I wasn't the best in, I don't know, writing, or I felt like, or acting. I felt like I didn't find my place, and I wasn't actually good in anything. And that just made me question, will I ever find my purpose? Will I ever find the job I'm meant to have? I'm not good at something. I'm not good at anything. What? I know how to crochet. That's not going to help me in the future. I cannot make a living out of that. Again, with the living part, but sometimes I do have to be a bit too realistic, because I cannot go up to my parents and be like, I want to make a living out of crocheting, and it will be like, that is not possible. You're going to be poor, or all of that. And I felt like everyone had a specific talent. I felt like they all knew what they wanted to study, what job they wanted to have, what career. And I felt behind, and I realized, it took me a long time to realize that I was only in 9th grade. It was my first year of high school, and I was comparing myself to people a few years older than me, or at least 1 year older than me. But then I thought about those in the same year as me, and I said, yeah, but some of them know too. But there are also other people, both in the same year as me and older, that still don't know what they want to do. And then I get scared. No, I don't want to be like them. I want to know what I want to. I want to have an answer. And there's the pressure that comes from the outside, because even if I try to convince myself that, hey, I can discover, I can just try out absolutely everything and then see what makes me the happiest. But then I said, well, I don't have time. People are asking me, and I cannot just get any job. Because you see, in my family, there was a lot of pressure put on me to be good in STEM. My parents really wanted me, especially my father really wanted me to be good in STEM. And I do kind of like math. I'm not good in all of the STEM subjects, but I'm not bad at it, so I can be honest and say I don't hate it with all of my heart. But when I'm thinking about a job that I won't like, when I'm thinking about careers, I'm always trying to find something in STEM. For example, if I want to study, I don't know, if I want to become an actor, if I want to study acting, English is not Englishing today, I'm very sorry. If I want to become an actress, it's not something, okay, it's not something I can make a living out of. Even if I have success and let's say I become extremely known, like, I don't know, Jenna Ortega or Emma Watson or whatever, I still wouldn't feel okay with myself. And it's not because I don't like acting, it's just that I feel like any job that is outside of STEM, well, except for a lawyer, I feel like I would be a failure. That's the truth. I feel like whatever job I'm looking for, if it's not something in STEM, I'm going to feel like a failure, and it's absolutely stupid, because you study you study a major, you study for that job, whatever it is. You're not a failure, and I just feel like if it's not something in STEM, no, I cannot study philosophy or what is it called? Political sociology, I think, or political sciences. I cannot study that because it's not. I have to do something. I can get my master's in politics, but I cannot study. I cannot get I cannot spend 4 years in college and study that. I have to study something in STEM too. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to study math in college, and then I'm going to get a master's in politics or something like that. Or I was thinking a master's in fashion maybe, because we have another topic, the fact that I really like fashion design, but I'm not really sure that I would like it as a main job. And now we're entering another part of the discussion for today. I don't want to have only one job. That's the thing. I like STEM as a theoretical thing. I like the theory part. I'm really interested about different scientific facts, and I think they're fun. I like hearing about those. But I'm not really good when it comes to the practical part. Not in all of them, at least. And I don't want to have... Yes, I wanted to become a doctor at some point. I wanted to become a dentist. And then I gave up on the idea because I realized that I would have to be in school for about 6 years. And I don't want that, because I want to be able to be independent. And that's why I gave up on that wish of mine, because I realized it's not okay. I cannot achieve what I want to achieve by going for the medicine route. I want to be able to be independent and work from at least 20. And if I were to study medicine, and I know it probably sounds very bad of me to say that, and it's not that I would give up on medicine just because it takes too much. But I don't think that, even if it would make me happy, I want to at least be able to pay for my own school and all of that. I don't want to live with my parents anymore after I graduate high school. And I don't want to only have a job. I see myself doing multiple things over the course of my life, because for years, in my teenage years, I've always thought about how I would live my 20s, how, I don't know, 18, 90, my 20s, how they would go. But then I didn't think about what comes after 30. And I'm freaking 16 and I'm already worrying about my 30s. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do then? And then I realized, okay, your 20s are 10, your 20s are 10 years. And that's a lot. And I have a lot of expectations and a lot of stuff that I want to achieve and do in my 20s. And then I realized, if those are 10 years and I already have so much planned, think of how much I can still do in my 30s, 40s, 50s. I get to live multiple lives. I can reinvent myself every 10 years or do whatever I want. Or maybe not change my job every 10 years. That would be really hard, especially if they don't have anything to do with the degree I studied. But you can just have multiple jobs. I don't know. I mean, I like a lot of things, and I like having a podcast. I like crocheting. I like fun science facts. I like a lot of things, so I would like to have more jobs than just one. I would get bored doing the same thing every day, and I know for a fact I don't want a 9 to 5, or at least not an office type 9 to 5. I don't want to be stuck at a desk for freaking 9 hours every day from Monday to Friday. I don't want that. I want something fun. At some point I wanted to become a biology researcher, and then I realized that it's not, not that I realized, but people kept telling me that it's very hard to have enough luck in order and become an actual researcher, and that you would probably end up as a teacher, and I don't want to take a teaching job, at least not in my 20s. As I've said, I can do a lot of things in my life. And I also have another thing. I want to be independent from, because this episode is not only about jobs, it's more about, it's about the fact that we are hurrying so much to find our path in our teenage years, because I want to move out of my childhood home. I would love to move out of my childhood home as soon as I finish high school. I'm gonna be 19 by the time I finish high school, but I'm desperate to move out. I cannot comprehend the fact that I could still live with my family. No, I have to be independent. I have this whole thing going on. I cannot comprehend the fact. I cannot accept the fact that at some point I might be 23 and still living with my parents, let alone 26, which is probably, no, it's actually like the whole thing that started my whole spiral and made me give up on medicine, on medical school. So yeah, and I have this whole thing that I have to be independent from a very young age. I would probably move out of my childhood home starting with 18, but I'm still in school, in my last year of school, and I cannot, while I have to study for a lot of exams, I cannot move out and live alone, but I do want to move out as soon as I finish high school. And I need some water. Yeah, it's kind of stupid, and there's a lot of pressure. You have to discover what you want to do. And especially in my country, teachers, people, everybody asks you what you want to study after you finish high school. And I will decide later, okay? And I just don't like that I have to know. I don't want to know. I know other kids already have found their path. I'm just taking a bit longer to find mine. I mean, all that I can do now, for now, I can just pay more attention to in class and study more of the subjects that we study at school, so that if I decide very late what I want to take my exams in, I can just be at least on a decent level. If I'll decide, I don't know, at the beginning of 12th grade that I want to take my exam in chemistry, I can decide because I'm already pretty good at chemistry or something like that, which I'm not at the moment, but I could be if I worked a bit harder. And yeah, I want to recommend to everybody to first of all think of who you're comparing yourself to. If you really need to compare yourself to somebody, it's not really necessary. You don't have to compare yourself to other people. But if you do want to compare yourself, keep in mind that even if you're comparing yourself to somebody the same age or year as you, every person has a different path. Some find their calling earlier than others. Some find it later. It's a process, and everybody has a different life. Everybody has a different life, and if you're comparing yourself to older people, I think that's self-explanatory. Don't do it. They have at least 1 or 2 years of experience compared to you, and if you're comparing yourself, I don't know, to how they were around your age, again, everybody has a different path. You cannot compare yourself, I don't know, maybe your parents knew what they wanted to study at 14 and you are now 17 and still don't know what you want to study. Everybody has a different path, and honestly, I wouldn't want to compare myself with anybody from my parents' generation, because there was a huge trend with a specific college, a specific degree, and everybody got it, and now what? My father is just said that he couldn't study what he actually wanted, and he's trying to project it on me for me to study it unconsciously. Like, I'm really sad that they didn't have the freedom to choose. They didn't have a lot of options at that time anyway, but you cannot. I'm still really sad that they couldn't decide. Honestly, I would see my mother working in another field too, but I don't know. She says that she's happy with the job that she has. I would question it, but if she's saying something, I'll have to believe her. And also be careful with what people say to you. A lot of times people are projecting their own problems on you, and especially family. They might try to convince you to study something. Maybe it's something that they didn't have the chance to study, or a job that they would have liked to have, and they just couldn't. And go easy on them too, because you don't know what they had to go through and what's their experience, and they might not want to project the bad things that they've been through on you. They just want to help. And I'm not trying to blame anybody for pressuring teenagers to find their dream career job, I don't know. It's just the way it goes. it's society, it's patriarchy, it's a mix of everything. So it's not somebody's fault. It's just the society as a whole. Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope it wasn't too long, and I'm hoping that I didn't speak too slowly. I'm Lucry. You can find me on Instagram, and you can find the podcast on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify at the Teenagers Talk podcast. Also, I do have some trouble with the last 2 episodes on Spotify because I cannot publish them there. I don't know why. I will try again, maybe in the next few days. But the episode is coming tomorrow, so I really hope that you enjoyed it. And I mean tomorrow for me. I really hope that you enjoyed the episode, and if you have any more questions or suggestions, or if you want to share your experience regarding this whole trying to find your career, your dream career, or all of that, because it can be hard. You don't know, you are not sure what you want to do, because maybe you have too many things that you like to do or too little things that you like to do, because I forgot to mention this too. Maybe you have a lot of things that you like to do, but you don't feel like you can make a living out of them. You know how to do some things for a reason. Maybe you will find out that you can make a living out of them. So don't be scared. You're going to find your way. And there's a lot of pressure, but remember that it's a process. It's supposed to be like that. You don't have to pressure yourself into finding something that you think you like, because you realize that you won't like it. And you have to do something that will make you happy. Always, absolutely, always think of what will make you happy. Because then you'll realize that you tried to please everybody else around you, and you ended up in a situation that you can hardly get out of. So, yeah. Anyways, Lucry here, and thank you so much for listening to this episode. And if you want to share your experience, share it in the comments. I'm waiting for different stories, and maybe we'll do a part 2 on this thing when I'll get more ideas, because I always have a lot of ideas regarding a topic, and I'm thinking that I'll keep making part 2s. Probably in the future I will just do a part 2 or 3 for every episode that I've ever filmed, because I have a lot to talk about, and it depends on what part of this topic we're discussing. So if people have new things, new ideas in the comments, I really want to hear them, and I think those could open other subjects that we can talk about. So thank you guys for listening. Also, a moment of appreciation. Can I get that for this absolutely freaking crazy outfit? I realized that I want to have more colorful outfits, more crazy outfits, makeup, anything when I'm filming, because I realized it's my only chance to do crazy stuff without feeling judged, and to, I don't know, get like a vibe for the podcast. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.